Hey Virgo! Thank you for joining me for your July reading. I'm Madeleine, if we haven't met before, and I am very excited to get into your cards, but before we talk about your cards for the month, we gotta get into your stars for a moment. So, the world experienced a lunar eclipse on July 5th. A lunar eclipse is like a full moon on steroids. And a full moon is already pretty fucking potent. So full moons, my favorite analogy is full moons are like a pot of boiling water. If you know what you got in there and you're keeping an eye on it, you can cook up something really delicious with this energy, right? Or if you're not paying attention and you just leave your pot a-boiling and you're not looking at it, you're looking at everything else, you could make a big old mess. That shit can boil over real quick, right? That's full moon energy. And for you, Virgo, the lunar eclipse took place in your 5th house, your house of romance, creativity, and play. And I want to make a quick distinction that there is a house for example, like marriage and committed partnership. This is not that house. The 5th house is, like I said, the house of romance. This is the house of like crushes and first meetings and even flings and kind of like casual lovers or casual experiences that of course have the potential to grow into something more, but we're talking about things in that stage, right? And a lunar eclipse in this house could indicate a couple things. You may have had a revelation around a relationship with a casual lover or someone that you've had a bit of a crush on or a fling with. You may realize that either you need to take it to the next level or walk away, or you could feel like this itch to really either start or make big progress on a creative project with this energy. What is it that you liked to do as a child? You know, when they ask you, like, what would you do if you didn't need money? What would you be doing with your time? What would you be using your energy to do or say or make or spread around? Wow. Your cards are jumping, so I guess Spirit's ready to get into your cards. This is something to think about. High creative energy. And of course, when the moon fills with light, she hits her culmination, right, at the full moon. And then the light drains slowly over the course of the month and we go into the new moon phase. Some of you, as the kind of feeling and the passion and the big build-up kind of finally like, whoo, drains back to the new moon, that may be when some of you have your revelation. So keep your eyes open. There's been kind of a theme throughout the readings, and it makes sense with the lunar eclipse. There's been kind of a theme throughout the readings about making sure that you recognize, Virgo, that we all have blind spots. It is just in our nature. And if we go through life thinking or pretending to ourselves that we don't have blind spots, that can get us into a lot of fucking accidents, right? And there's a bit of pride around acknowledging that we might have a blind spot or a weak spot or a spot where, you know, people or things can kind of weasel their way in and get us to do things that are not what we would like to do or whatever. Keep your eye on your blind spot. Know what it is. Know your weaknesses, Virgo, right? Like, that's one of your great talents, is separating the wheat from the chaff. So without punishing or castigating yourself for having them, be aware of what your weaknesses and needs and blind spots are so that you can like actually get those needs met without running into anything unnecessary along the way. Spirit wanted to get that out of the way. And now let's get into your cards for the month. Virgo. Virgo Sun, Virgo Moon, Virgo Rising, and Virgo Dominant people. What do they need to know, Spirit, for their highest good? Guardians, guides, angels, protectors, those who surround and support Virgo. What do they need to know this month for their highest good? Virgo, Virgo, Virgo in July. Dang. Some of you all might have either Leo or Cancer placements. I saw a couple of your cards by accident. I was not trying to peek. Let's just see. Virgo. Virgo, month of July. Virgo. Their highest good. Okay. Let's get into it. Oh my goodness. Okay, don't worry. We're going to talk about it. Sorry. And I promise to pop your cards up in just a second so you can see what I'm looking at. Yeah. Dang. I mean, Spirit ain't just whistling Dixie. I knew it when they said, like, when they were already talking about blind spots. I kind of had a feeling that I was going to see a certain card that we're looking at here. Wow. Interesting. Jeez. Okay. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. That makes me very happy. Okay, Virgo, let's talk about it. So, at the center of your reading, we have the Five of Wands crossed by the Page of Swords. Virgo, Virgo, Virgo. Somebody might come in and be a little petty or be a little demanding or be a little short with you. This is very childish energy, okay? Five of Wands is, I mean, it makes sense. Fifth house, haha, didn't even think about the five thing. But more like the fifth, I can talk. The Five of Wands is kind of like playing games. And for some of you, I feel very like, okay, this is where I'm going to remind you, Virgo, this is a general reading for every Virgo dominant that might be listening. For some of you, I feel very specifically that there is somebody, and this feels like a person from your past, this Page of Swords coming in to kind of interrupt your peace. I knew that there were going to be some similarities here. These are echoing messages. So again, if either of you, maybe Cancer or Leo placements, you might want to check those out. There is childish energy coming in, and it is so compelling to you that you might truly get drawn into some silliness that you don't need to get drawn into. Let me say it like that. This means different things for different people. For some of you, this could just be a distraction. For some of you, this could be somebody who has said in the past that like, oh, I do. I want to work with you on this, or I really want to learn that, or I really want to whatever. And then they've never followed through. And now they're coming back again to say it. And for some of you, it's very specifically like an old lover that is like, hey, can't wait to put you through the same old rigmarole. You want to play again? You want to do it again? Like, and that's up to you. That's up to you, Virgo. But looking at these cards, I think that there are better things out there for you than deciding to once again dance with the devil in the pale moonlight. This is what Spirit's saying. You are being tested. And you're not being tested because Spirit thinks you're going to fail. You're being tested because they want you to succeed. Because they want you to feel so strong within who you are, what your principles are, what you know and love about yourself, your limits. So much so that when somebody comes in and offers you an iota less than what you're looking for, it's very easy for you to say, oh, no, thank you. Again, knowing what our blind spots are. So if, for example, you know about yourself, Virgo, that when you fall in love or when you get a crush, you get a little bit needy and you really want a lot from that person, it's good to know that. Like, wait, I have a bit of a blind spot here. So because I really have like a lot of need over here and it's not like my favorite quality about myself, right? Reminder that the devil is not Satan. The devil is not evil. The devil represents addictions, obsessions, shadow work, places where we need some shadow work. And when we disown a part of ourselves, we disown a part of our power, and we disown part of the truth, and we disown our truth, like ourselves. And the Strength card on the inside, the Devil card as kind of what is manifesting or what you're going to encounter outside. The Strength card is about inner strength. This card is quite related to the devil in a strange reason. This lion here, we could think of as one version of the devil. What is the lion? The lion is the wild part of ourself, the part that we think, if this gets loose, this could be so destructive. You know, so that could be rage, that could be depression, that could be insecurity, that could be jealousy, that could be neediness, that could be greed, whatever. The parts of ourselves, which, reminder, we all have, like the vast majority of people have experienced being addicted to something or someone, or experiencing lust, or experience obsession with something or someone that they knew was not great. Everybody, okay? So the whole fucking problem, the whole deal with the shadow is shame. Shame doesn't fucking work on anything. It doesn't help anything. It only reduces us. It only makes us feel unworthy. So if you've been trying to use shame as like, you know, like, you're so fat, or like, you're so needy, or like, and you've been kind of fucking self-flagellating, I'm gonna need you to stop. I'm gonna need you to see that your inner lion is not your enemy, and it is not ugly, and it is not something to be dismissed or worst, beaten, caged, or killed because you think that the minute you become a little needy or a little bit greedy that you're a terrible person. You know who the most fucking terrible, scary people are the people that think they're really good people and therefore they're incapable of like getting it wrong or doing evil. Those people do terrible things. Do you know what I'm talking about? Knowing that we can be a bit greedy or needy or mean or whatever means that when it starts to, you know, when the lion starts to raise its head and roar, we're like, oh, that's mine. I need to go take care of that. A part of me needs something. And it doesn't need to be whipped or caged or killed. It needs to be understood. It needs to be healed. We need to go up to our lion and be like, what, baby? Tell me all about it. I know, you're roaring. I know, you can roar. It's okay. What's going on? And you might find that your fucking soul has a thorn in its paw. You might find that like, hey, you know what? I'm feeling insecure because this guy sucks or whatever. Like, I'm not feeling insecure because I'm crazy or bad or needy. I'm feeling insecure because this person like makes us feel like we don't really know where we stand. Do you know what I'm saying? But if we just think, ew, it's gross to be insecure. Ew, people don't like me when I'm insecure. Ew, mom and dad hated it when I was insecure or said I want this or need this or whatever. And therefore I said to myself, I gotta put this away. This is an evil, bad part of me. And whenever this comes out, terrible things will happen. Whatever that quality is, needs your love and compassion and attention. And I swear to God, when you do that, you can bring this energy into balance. I'm just gonna point out some similarity in the imagery here, because the devil is not evil. The devil, we all have a little devil inside, like, and the more aware we are of that devil and the less we pretend that, no, I don't have a devil inside, I don't have bad qualities, not me, I'm good. The more that we do that, the more trouble we get into. The more we know ourselves, the more we grow ourselves. The more we create. And what creates, what you create, Virgo, creates you. You are developing into a stronger authority in your own life. You are getting to a place by looking at your devil, by checking your blind spot when you're going on your journey and going, okay, I'm all clear. Or, oh, there it is. Jealousy is starting to rear its head. I better have a conversation with myself, have a conversation with my person. Whatever. I'm not going to sweep it under the rug and pretend just because I'm embarrassed or ashamed that I have this feeling. If somebody shames me for having a feeling, that's on them. You know? Don't let somebody else's, like, oof, this is going to get into a whole shadow work lesson, which I'm not trying to do. But essentially, if you have a partner, let's just pretend, hypothetically speaking, you've got a monogamous partner. And they're talking to somebody in a way that you start to get a little jealous. And if you say like, oh, like, honey, I'm not trying to make it weird, but you know, when you were talking to fill in the blank, like I started to get a little bit, you know, insecure, and I just, you know, could you tell me that you love me? Could you tell me that I'm the only one? And you know, I'm sorry, I know it's a little silly, but I could really use your reassurance right now. If that person doesn't say, baby, come here, like, you silly thing, you know I could never, and doesn't just gather you up in their arms and make you feel as worthy as you should feel just within yourself, then fuck them. If they take an opportunity to be like, wow, I notice that this person feels shame around their insecurity, I can use that to prevent them from bugging me about like whoever I'm talking to in the future. And I'm not saying everybody's like this Machiavellian jerk who's like, I'm gonna use this person's emotions against them. Sometimes we do this shit unconsciously. But either way, if you can't ask for what you want in a very open way and get it, then fuck that person. And certainly if they try to use it to twist what you're feeling and make you kind of renounce the problem, fuck them. Okay, now, I think that you're going to do a pretty good job because your future is the King of Wands clarified by the fucking Six of Wands. Now, let's keep in mind, you begin at the 5 and you end up at the 6 in the future. The 6 is victory. The 6 is public acclaim. The 6 is, I did try it, but I tried it for real and I won. Not the 5 of Wands where it's kind of like, I'm fucking around, I'm just, maybe I want to dabble in that. No, 6 of Wands is like, hail the conquering hero. Look what you did. King of Wands, welcome back. Let us throw you a parade. For all of the inner work that you've done, where you find yourself, High Priestess, intuitive, quiet, reflective, very much rhymes with this energy. It's a very good energy to be in when you're dealing with maybe someone who is insecure and petty and immature, essentially. And immature people will use, you know, whatever tools they have access to. So again, I'm not, saying that people are like evil and Machiavellian, but if someone learned through their, you know, messed up family or whatever, this is just how Spirit's putting it, to be manipulative, well, they're gonna use what they have available. And if manipulation is what's available and what's, you know, a learned lesson, then that's what they're gonna access. And if you, again, don't know your blind spots and don't know that you can be taken advantage of, if someone just puts in the right code, if someone just says, well, I just thought you really cared about me, or if you loved me you would, or whatever the fucking code word that like your parents fucking programmed into you, and then somebody says it and it hits your trigger and it's like, oh my god, the world will end if I don't soothe this feeling and this person, like, and do you know what I'm saying, Virgo? I know this is like, it's intense, but that's what Spirit's bringing up. And again, this all makes sense with lunar eclipse in the 5th house. How do I want to be loved? What makes me feel like, what makes me feel loved? What makes me feel solid? What makes me feel creative, joyful, attractive in every sense of the word? And what makes you feel joyful and attractive and solid, Virgo, is getting things done and proving yourself to be good at something, proving that you can take something all the way. The Sun is sitting in your past, so it feels kind of like you were in a more victorious state, and now you're in maybe a little bit of fray and confusion and like, what's next? But I get the feeling you're going to be feeling pretty solid on your feet again by the end of July. I'm pretty sure of where you're going and pretty excited about how you've been able to take something from an idea to like fruition, which is what the King of Wands is able to do. I can take that one single spark and give it both the air it needs, but also the protection it needs, like a hurricane candle, like to keep that spark, that little tiny flame alive, and then I can grow it into a fire. Whether I put that fire in a kiln to create, whether I put that fire in a hearth, you are building something important for yourself, and I feel like it has to do with your talents, your creativity, your charisma. So, you know, the 5th house, they're saying now, they're reminding me, so they want me to put it this way, is the house of children and games. Some of you might have, like, this is just how they're putting it, so this may just be for one person who hears this, but Spirit won't say it. So some of you might have like an idea for a game, an idea for something related to, again, children or just play, and I think you want to take it all the fucking way. I think that you want to work that idea. And if I just feel like there's a market for it, whatever it is that you're creating. And remember, general readings. So anything that is just yours, King of Wands, you don't have to be an artist to be creative. For example, you may very well be writer, painter, sculptor, actor, whatever, but you could also be a business owner, an entrepreneur, you could be a carpenter, you could be a graphic designer, whatever. Your thing. What are you the king of? King having nothing to do with sex or gender, king having everything to do with where you find yourself in the kind of hierarchy of things. And you find yourself as a creative king in the very near future. Putting your talent to the test, not being afraid to throw your hat in the ring and try and possibly fail, because failure is not the end of the road. It is a signpost on the way to success. Whoop, I fucked that up. Whoop, I fucked that up. Whoop, I fucked that up. Oh, I got it right this time. Oh, I got it right this time. Practice makes perfect. I'm not afraid to fuck up, because fucking up is just a signpost on the way to success. Okay? Okay. People want your idea. That's what I'm hearing. There's an audience for this. That's what I'm hearing. There's an audience for this, and Spirit is reminding me that in every eclipse, there is a dynamism. The full moon happens in the 5th house. That does something to the opposite or opposing house. There are 12 houses in astrology, not to take this too far and too crazy. But if there's an eclipse in this house, it does activate this other house. And we did just have a solar eclipse 2 weeks before this lunar eclipse in that house. Sorry, this is all going to make sense in a second. Meaning, this lunar eclipse in your 5th house of play and romance and fun is activating your 11th house, which is the house of big ideas, ideas that take a team or a network or an audience to complete, big goals, big connections, networking. So your creative gift has an audience. And if you're going to need a team to help you build it, I feel that that will be ready for you too. But you've got to put your money where your mouth is and start. And be the leader. Take the lead. Be the King of Wands. Change is coming. This is a brilliant idea that you have. Some of you might be writing something, because that Ace of Swords is the key. Even if it's just the seed of an idea. Don't let it be a seed in your mind that just kind of dies. Plant it. Put it somewhere. Put it on paper. Even if it is just the beginning. Even if you're not ready to show it to anybody for a long, long time. Don't just fuck around. Don't just 5 of Wands. Don't just child's play. Throw your hat in the ring. Go for it. What are you going for, Virgo? It looks good to me. It looks like, yes, it puts you through some soul searching. But guess what happens when we're doing our soul work? A little bit of soul searching. I hope that this reading helps you do some of that soul searching. And if you have questions or comments or advice for your fellow Virgos, I'm sure that we can all be helpful to each other. I really, really appreciate you being here, Virgo. And I hope that your time investment pays for itself many, many, many times over. Really hope that this is helpful. I appreciate you. I'm wishing blessings to you and yours, Virgo. And if I don't see you before then I hope I see you in your August reading. Bye, Virgo.